The ANC puts on a united front party as branches accept President Jacob Zuma's apology over Nkandla. The SABC stands firm on its controversial decision to no longer broadcast violent protest scenes. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching eNews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandy Nkandla. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct.
You can also track our main stories using the following hashtags: ANC, NEC, and World No Tobacco Day.
We start with this. President Jacob Zuma will not be recalled over the Nkandla Constitutional Court ruling. ANC Secretary General Gupta says the party's branches have agreed to accept his apology. It also appears that state capture might not be such a big issue after all. Mandashe says only a handful of party members approached his office to air grievances about corporate influence on the state.
A mere 8 ANC members have come forward with allegations of state capture. This followed Gupta's launch of an internal party probe into the influence the Guptas and other high-profile families have on the state.
I said to them, give us a written submission so that we can attend to these issues. Only one did that. The allegation made were serious, they cannot be treated lightly, and many warrant a comprehensive investigation.
Mandashe concedes the matter isn't closed. Anyone uncomfortable with bringing allegations directly to the party should formalize their complaints at relevant state institutions like the police or public protector. How the ANC responds to the single written submission on state capture will determine how seriously the issue is really being taken. But it remains unclear what action the party can actually take, especially if that action will be based on the submission of only one member. Mandashe also confirmed rank-and-file party members have accepted President Jacob Zuma's apology for the frustration and confusion caused by state-sponsored upgrades to his Nkandla homestead.
Overwhelmingly, branches of the ANC confirmed the decision of the NWC not to recall the president. Branches emphasized the importance of unity of the movement, and accepting the apology of the president must contribute to the unity of the movement.
With local government elections approaching, this call for unity may not hold after South Africans go to the ballot box. Nicolaas Bauer, Johannesburg.
Meanwhile, the ANC has decided on its candidates for the upcoming elections, but won't announce the names of prospective mayors for key municipalities just yet. The party Secretary General has also issued a stern warning to unsuccessful candidates intending to cause disruptions.
There are people who think that if they are not councillors, there is no council. Many of them continue to bombard us with complaints that I was nominated, and therefore if you are not putting me on the list, there will be a mass walkout of the ANC in this and that and that. We think that is opportunistic and actually very selfish, because it means you are bigger than the organization, you are bigger than that community. It is about yourself and no more.
Several organizations are teaming up to apply to the Independent Communications Authority to force the SABC to back down on its decision not to screen violent protest scenes. But the SABC's Hlaudi Motsweneng is unshaken by widespread criticism of the move. Motsweneng says it aims to protect children from exposure to violence every time they watch the news.
It's election season, and with this comes a spike in protests, which often turn violent. Well, if your source of news is the public broadcaster, you will see none of it. The SABC says the presence of cameras at protests encourages further destruction.
If you read the Broadcasting Act, we should not incite people on violence. And we are not like other media because we are unique.
So was the decision politically informed?
There is no way that politics will influence the decision of the SABC. We have been taking decisions within the SABC, elections or no elections.
The ANC has also weighed in on the matter.
The debate is not about the decision of the SABC. The debate should be how should media influence society and thinking in society. to influence it by showing destruction. If you promote destruction, society will be destructive.
As for local content, while musicians are enjoying the 90% local music quota on radio, TV is also coming on board.
We are making sure that all our platform, your SABC 1, 2 and 3, we put more local content, especially SABC 3. We are revamping SABC 3. We are appealing to all filmmakers, all service providers on content to come on board and make sure that they produce content for the SABC.
SABC 3 will start broadcasting 80% local content from July 1st. Motsoeneng urges other media houses to support the SABC in its endeavors. Zikhona Tshona, Johannesburg.
The legacy of the near collapse of Limpopo's government 5 years ago continues to haunt Polokwane politics. 5 departments were placed under administration and the province was declared technically bankrupt. This, as well as Polokwane's famous son, EFF leader Julius Malema, feature highly in the political discourse as the city gears up for elections.
Polokwane is ANC country, electorally at least.
Even judging by the recent 2014 general elections, they accumulated almost 80% of the provincial vote.
And as elsewhere across the country, the ANC here is counting on its track record in government as its greatest strength going into the polls.
And until now, the only threat to the ANC's dominance in Polokwane has been the DA.
But ahead of election 2016, that balance has been upset by arguably the most potent political force currently outside the ANC. An individual who ironically doesn't even reside here anymore. This is where it all began for Julius Malema. In the early 90s, the streets of Seshego reverberated the brave struggles against apartheid that were being waged across South Africa, and names like Peter Mokaba inspired a political awakening in the young Malema. Now he's coming full circle to take on a formidable ANC machinery that he helped build. And that has thus far proven to be a tough ask. In 2014, for instance, the EFF failed to win at even a single Polokwane polling station. Not even here at Malema's former high school.
The reason I'm jealous, 80%
In this looming showdown, control of council will be the main prize. But capturing the actual ward in which Malema's home stands will be nothing short of the sweet spoils of this electoral battle.
I am telling you now that what they think is gone. All the wards of Seshego, they are gone. We have taken this municipality.
I told him in 2014 during the general election that you, my man, you and I, you can talk about Zuma, you can talk about whoever, but you and I, let's bet on this ward. Yes, let's bet that I'm going to win these 3 voting stations that are based within our ward. And ultimately, I'm going to win the ward. He smiled and said, no, you can bet. I did defeat him. Even now, we're still going to bet on that word to say, I'm going to defeat you.
A confident governing party fighting from its bastion. Established opposition seeing opportunity to spread its tentacles. And political upstarts seeking to capture their commander's home base set the stage for a battle royale in the city known as the place of the gods. Thulasizwe Simelane, Polokwane.
A quick look at world news now. An Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has held out the prospect of reviving a 2002 Arab peace initiative. The plan offers Israel diplomatic recognition from Arab countries in return for a statehood deal with the Palestinians. He made the comments after Avigdor Lieberman was sworn in as Israel's new defense minister. Netanyahu appeared to indicate that his far-right government appointment did not spell an end to peace efforts. And the anti-corruption minister in Brazil's interim government has resigned after a leaked recording suggested he tried to derail the probe into the state oil company. Earlier, employees prevented Fabiano Silveira from entering the ministry, cleaning up the building in a symbolic gesture. He's the second minister ensnared by recordings made by a former oil industry executive as part of a plea bargain. Both were appointed by interim President Michel Temer, who replaced Dilma Rousseff after her suspension to face an impeachment trial over alleged budget manipulation.
Dupuzida steps in to give you all of the social media.
Indeed, I have. Thank you so much, Sandile. And daughter of former U.S. Congressman Robert Kennedy has commended South Africa for its fight against racism. Kerry Kennedy is in the country to commemorate her father's historic 1966 visit. 50 years ago, Robert Kennedy, the brother of then U.S. President John Kennedy, visited our shores. He delivered a speech at UCT slamming apartheid policies. He also met with ANC leader Chief Albert Luthuli at his home in KwaZulu-Natal. We end with this. It's being reported that Gupta-owned Oak Bay Investments Company has opened a case of intimidation against employees. It seems the employees were critical of a letter in which management pleaded with the banks to reopen Oak Bay's accounts. According to News 24, more than 15 staff members received letters from Oak Bay stating it would start disciplinary hearings against them on Thursday. Remember, we do love to hear from you. You can, of course, check us out on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNews Direct. Or you can head on over to our website. That's enca.com/direct. After the break, your business news as well as your weather. Business news now, and the Supreme Court of Appeal has ruled in favor of ETV in its challenge against government's digital migration policy. The free-to-air broadcaster opposed government's decision not to encrypt set-top boxes as previously agreed. All South Africans will need set-top boxes when the country switches over to digital terrestrial television. The SCA ruled that Communications Minister Faith Mothambi failed to consult with all stakeholders and that the policy change was irrational and invalid. It also found that she acted beyond her legal authority in issuing such a directive. ETV's Chief Operating Officer, Mark Rosen, says the ruling will level the playing field as South Africa goes digital. Let's see how the markets perform today. Let's check in with the Weather Centre now. Here's Joel Guy.
Welcome to the Weather Centre. Once again, we saw clear skies dominating the weather this Tuesday across the eastern parts of the country. We continue to see high-level cloud moving into the western and southern parts of South Africa. And out in the Atlantic Ocean, we have this cold front, which is set to hit the west coast as we go through Wednesday. Now, talking of Wednesday, things are going to look like this. It's going to be cloudy, wet and cold along the southwest coastline and the adjacent interior. Partly cloudy for much of the northern and western Cape, as well as the western areas of the eastern Cape. It's going to be cooler for the western parts of South Africa, including the eastern areas of the western Cape. Mostly sunny and warmer weather is forecast for the eastern half of the country. KwaZulu-Natal stays with sunny skies on Wednesday, with temperatures staying in the mid to upper 20s. Richards Bay making it to around 28 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy for the western and southern parts of the eastern Cape, with hot temperatures along the coastal areas. East London making it to around 30 degrees. We are going to have a cloud and rainy weather along the southwest coastline of the western Cape, spilling into the adjacent interior. Mostly sunny for much of the interior. A high of just 17 is forecast for Cape Town. Partly cloudy skies are forecast across the back of the northern Cape. A rather chilly 17 for the high in Sutherland, 27 for Appington, Kimberley will stay at the 27-degree mark. It's going to be mostly sunny to partly cloudy for much of the Free State, freezing for Smith, below freezing temperatures overnight for Bethlehem and Harrismith, and mild afternoon temperatures are forecast for the province. It's also going to be mild across the northwest with mostly sunny skies expected for much of the province. In Limpopo, we are going to see sunny skies persisting and temperatures warming up a touch around Polokwane, peaking at around 23 degrees. Clear skies persist across the Mpumalanga province, just a bit of cloud from Mbombela with a warm 26 for the top temperature. It's going to stay sunny in Gauteng, a fairly comfortable 24 for the high in Pretoria. We are going to have partly cloudy skies on a Thursday across the southern and southeastern parts of the country, mostly sunny for the rest of the country. Then on Friday, a bit of rain is forecast for George and Port Elizabeth.
Thank you, Joe. After the break, Cape Town school children take an in-depth look at the dangers of smoking. Welcome back. A group of Cape Town school children got the chance to get up close and personal with the realities of smoking.
Yep, they took part in a series of creative sensory-based experiments to raise awareness around World No Tobacco Day, which is today.
I know that it is an expensive and unhealthy habit. I know that smoking is not cool. It will not help me fit in.
Riverside College pupils take a pledge against smoking for World No Tobacco Day. First, they had to close their eyes and listen to the rattling sound of someone with advanced emphysema.
A thick, syrupy liquid that coats your entire lung. And the thing is, if I have to do this and roll it around, you see it doesn't immediately go down. It stays up there, so pretty much your lungs are just covered in this.
And as much as smoking affects one's health, it also hits the pocket hard.
Well, I don't smoke, first of all. Okay, let's say I started in grade 7, right? That's from grade 7 to grade 12 is already 5 years. So if I smoke a pack every day, that will be for a month, that will be 980 Rand. And so, you smoke that for a whole 5 years, that's 60,000 Rand. So that's literally already like a school, a varsity year.
The smell of what it smells like.
School principal Dave Swart says he hopes days like this would drive home the message of how important it is for young people to stay away from smoking.
We brought it all together today with this assembly to actually give them a visual experience of what smoking is about.
Pupils also had to do some breathing exercises and even smell cigarette butts, all in an effort to deter them from picking up the habit. Tim Tongana, Cape Town.
Here's a reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. The ANC puts on a united front party as branches accept President Jacob Zuma's apology over Nkandla. The SABC stands firm on its controversial decision to no longer broadcast violent protest scenes. And that's a wrap from the eNews Direct team.
Yep, Rhythm City's up next. We're back tomorrow.
We do love to hear from you. You can, of course, send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
Well, of course, you can just talk to us on Twitter and Facebook, and our handle is @eNewsDirect.
Until tomorrow night, have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.